What is up, you guys? As you can tell by the title, today is going to be a makeup video, and I'm just going to hurry up and jump straight into it. So, the first thing that I'm applying is my primer, and this is one thing that I feel like you need within your makeup routine. When I first started doing makeup, I used to never use primer. But I notice now, like, especially like with my skin type and stuff like that, I notice primer is making my makeup last a little bit more longer than it usually does. So I would say that is something that you guys need. You don't have to use this e.l.f. primer that I'm using. I think it's like the e.l.f. Grip Primer. That's the name of it. You don't have to use this one. You can use any other primer. You can use like a matte primer in your T-zone. Some people use other primers. I don't know the other ones, but I just know the e.l.f. one works good. And then the next thing I'm going with is my brow pencil. So I'm just brushing in my brows, and I'm using the Anastasia brow pencil. And I forgot what color this is, but I am going to link all the products in the description below. So as of right now, I'm just filling in the tailbone of my eyebrows. I never start in the front with my eyebrows because I feel like that kind of makes it not too chalky, but I feel like since I already have eyebrows, I kind of just work with what I have and then just go from there. Now, if you don't have any eyebrows at all, or it's just sparse everywhere, then you can start from the front and work your way over. So that's what I'm doing now. And yeah, just filling in my eyebrows. And that's probably about it for this part right here. And as you can see, a girl just sneezed because her allergies has been messing her up. And then I'm just doing the same thing on the other one, the other brow. This brow always gives me a little hard time because it's like shaped weirdly. But you know, your brows are cousins, not sisters. So your brows ain't gonna look exactly the same, but I try to make use of what I have. And yeah, and not only that, you want to give your primer some time to like stick to your skin. If you're going to do primer, you never want to go with primer and then go straight in with your foundation. You want to let your primer sit for almost like 5 to 10 minutes so it can get a little bit tacky and settle into your skin. So once you put your foundation on, everything kind of just goes on smoothly. So if you're doing any type of like skin prep, primer, anything, give it time to sit on your face, and that's how you can create like that flawless base that you want. Now, next thing that I'm going in is with my Morphe concealer. Now, this concealer is a little bit different than the concealer that y'all gonna see coming up. This concealer is kind of like the same shade of my skin tone. And the reason why I do that is because I don't like when my eyebrows look too bright. Like, I don't like that look. I used to do it a lot during college and like high school. But it's like I kind of like my eyebrow concealer to be a little, just the same complexion as my regular skin tone. So I kind of just feel like draw a line and clean up those little areas. Well, yeah, that line what I did on my eyebrows. And just kind of clean that up to kind of just make everything look more flawless. Now, you don't have to clean up your brows if you don't want to, but I notice if I'm doing like a full beat, I love a good cleaned up brow. Especially with that good old concealer. Yes. That's gonna give what you need. And yeah, I kind of just drag the concealer down a little bit. I don't really like blend it with a brush, as you can say. So that's probably it for that part. Now I'm gonna go in with my Urban Decay matte foundation. Oh no, I'm going in with my my brow gel. I forgot about that. Here I am getting ahead of myself. But yeah, you want to use a brow gel to set everything on your brows. This is like the only one that I've used is this NYX Brow Gel in the color clear. Years ago when I was in college, I used to use clear mascara. So if you don't want to spend the money on the NYX, you can probably get like a clear mascara that's like $2 or $3, I think, and make that hold your brows. So whatever works for you, but I like using that one. And then, like I said, now we're getting started with our foundation. So I'm using the Urban Decay Matte Foundation, and this is like my favorite foundation, y'all. I've been using this down. This stuff is so good. If you have dry skin, I don't know if you might can use this, you might not, I don't know, but I know it works for me. This has my makeup looking so good, like all day. And I think it's the matte, because I love anything that's like matte on my face. So I'm kind of just applying that everywhere on my face. It looks a little weird on camera, but I promise you guys, it's like, it is the exact shade like in person. Like it looks good in person. I don't know why it's picking up to be like this orange reddish type color on camera, but it's like the same. It matches like my skin complexion like in person. So do not say I can't do makeup, because I can't do my makeup. But anyways, now that I'm going in, I'm just blending as much as I can. The key to making your foundation and everything flawless is just blending. Do not be in a rush doing your makeup, even though I low-key was in a rush here, but that's because I've been doing my makeup ever since I was in high school. So yeah, but if you're a newbie to this, always just blend. If you think you're done blending, blend some more. Just blend. And yeah, that's all. That's it to like get that seamless, flawless base. I'm just blending and blending and blending. Now, I don't know how I did not notice that hair on my face right there. That is kind of throwing me off, but y'all get the gist. Anyways, as of right now, there's that. So you just want to keep blending and blending and blending and blending. Now, as you can see here, I just apply a little bit more foundation around my mouth just to like, you know, get a little extra coverage right there, since I do have a little, just a little bit pigmentation around my mouth. So yeah, there's that. All right, so next thing that I'm going in with is my bronzer by Saie. I think that's the name of the brand. I had got this bronzer from Sephora, I believe. But yeah, I just applied the bronzer along my cheekbones, and this right here is mostly kind of just to bring some warmth back to my face. Um and kind of just like add a little bit dimension to my face as well. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but at least I can. But it kind of just brings the warmth back in my face and stuff like that. And I just apply that to the cheekbones. I also bring that up to my temple and then also to my forehead. Oh, and then I also take that on my nose. Now, next thing we're going in is with our blush. And you're probably saying, what in the hell? Why am I using an orange blush? But this kind of gives, like, I use a lot of blushes, but today I think I felt like using the orange liquid blush. And it looks so pretty once I blend it out. It just brings like a lot of, not a lot, but like a dense amount of color to my face, where it kind of like also the orange warms up my face. So that is one. I use orange blush. Sometimes I use pink blush, purple, depending on what I'm feeling. But I feel like every black girl needs to use a blush. If you're dark skinned, you can use a blush too. You can go for like a red, pink, purple. It don't matter what skin color you are. Blush looks good on every girl. So I don't know if y'all can see in this, like, in because of the lighting, but like, I did apply a little bit more blush, but it kind of just like warms up my face a little bit more, especially in contrast with, like, with the bronzer and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know why it looks crazy on camera, but it does not look like that in person. I promise you guys, it did not look like that. And then when I blend my blush, I kind of just keep it in one area, and like I take my bronzer, apply that under the cheekbones, I guess you could say, and then for my actual blush, I apply that like on the center, or basically on the top of my cheekbones, like in one place. And the reason why I go in with my blush first is because I then come in with my concealer to kind of like, if I mess up or like I apply too much blush, the concealer kind of like hides that a little bit, and while also keeping like that color from the blush. So I apply my concealer under my eyes, of course, on my eyelids. I also apply some on my upper lip, and I also apply some on the bridge or like in the middle of my nose. And I let my concealer sit for probably, I don't know, like 1 to 2 minutes with this concealer, but it just depends on what concealer you're using. Sometimes you have to make your concealer sit for like 5 minutes at least, or if you have a fan, you could fan your face, and that can like speed up the process. But when you're doing your concealer, you always want to give it a little bit time to dry, like we do with our primer. And the reason is because like when you let your concealer sit a little bit, the blending process is kind of more seamless and more even. I don't know how or why, the science behind that, but when I let my concealer just sit just a little bit, blending is like 10 times more easier. It's not as messy. I'm not making as much as mistakes that I would normally do if I didn't let it dry down. So if you're a newbie or anything, I don't even think you have to be a newbie. You can just be advanced in your makeup journey. You need to let your concealer sit just a little bit. Now, like I said, not all concealers needs to be set. Some concealers only need to be set for like 30 seconds, depending on what type of formula and stuff like that it is. But yeah, y'all see that? Look at that color on my cheekbone. Look at that. You can't tell me that the base does not look good. Now, Now I'm going in and I'm adding in my, well, not adding, I'm blending out my concealer. Sometimes I apply concealer to my forehead. I think this day I just didn't want to because I was, like I said, I was a little bit in a rush. But now I blend my upper lip, then I blend the bridge of my nose, and then I blend my eyelids. I kind of go in this order because the last place I do want to blend is my under eyes. And I feel like it takes a little minute for like my under eyes to like dry and stuff like that. So yeah, there's that. But when I do blend my under eye, you guys notice how I don't start all the way up. I start at the edge, and you always want to start at the edge because you need to blend out your edges first. That's one thing you need to do. Do not go in and just start blending in the middle. It's not gonna mess up your makeup, but you're gonna have to do a lot more work. So you just want to blend the edges a little bit, and then you want to go up and kind of just pat it like at the front, and then make your way up. And then I bring my concealer up. I don't bring it down, I bring it up so it can kind of blend seamlessly and stuff like that. One thing to note here, you do want to keep your foundation brush on you because that is going to come into play within the next couple of seconds. But y'all see me right here. I'm trying to like play around with the lighting because I don't think it didn't look like y'all could see like the concealer and like my blush and stuff like that on my camera. But I guess you guys can see it here clearly as of right now we're looking. So you guys see that? I don't know if you guys see that little demarcation line or whatever by like my eyebrows on the right. Y'all looking dead at it right now. But you want to like keep your foundation brush because we're going to use that to kind of like clean up the areas where the concealer is kind of not like blending, or I probably didn't blend it right. You just want to go back in there and just kind of take it and use that excess product and just clean it up. That's all you got to do. And then I'm going to take my blush, the brush that I use to blend my brush. I'm not adding more product on it. I'm just using that as an extra way to kind of bring the product back to my face in case like the excess foundation may cover it up, whatever. So I do that. And then what do I do? What do I have to come next? Oh, I'm just blending a little bit more on my under eyes. So then after that, I go in with my Fenty Beauty powder. It's the loose powder. And sometimes I blend my under eye with the brush. Sometimes I blend it with the sponge. It depends on what day I'm having. But lately, because like my makeup routine always changes. But lately I have been liking blending with a sponge. And when I do blend it with a sponge, I don't dip it and then go right in. I pat it on my hand to kind of make the powder on the sponge even out. So that's why I pat it on my hand a couple of times to like even out the powder, and then I go in with the sponge under my under eye. That kind of just creates like I said, a more seamless blend when I'm setting that concealer with that loose setting powder. So that's like a little trick that you can do. Some people just use a brush and kind of just dab the brush in and kind of get the excess off and then wipe under their eye. And that's sometimes what I used to do a couple months back, but lately I have been liking just dabbing off the excess product. So yeah, one thing about makeup, there's no rules. My makeup always changes. Like when I say it always changes, I'm not even doing the stuff that I was doing 6 months ago. Like I'm always changing up my makeup routine because I always feel like something is always better coming up within my makeup routine. So there's that. But yeah, I'm never doing the same thing over and over again. So you just want to go in and, like I said, I'm setting all the places that I used a concealer. This one thing to note, when you're doing your makeup and you're wondering like, oh, why don't my base looks good or anything, anywhere you put a liquid on your face, you need to set that liquid with a powder. So you guys see how I set the concealer with my Fenty whatchamacallit. I set it with with the loose powder. I'm losing my words right now. But you want to, like I said it with my loose powder. So with the foundation, I'm going to set that with a powder foundation. With my liquid blush, I'm going to set that with a powder blush. And then with my liquid bronzer, I set that with that bronzer right there from Juvia's place. And I use the one at the top. And I'm setting that bronzer first. And I'm just going in and setting that. And I'm, like I said, wherever I applied that bronzer, because I applied it to my cheekbones or under my cheekbones, near my nose, and also my forehead. So I'm going in over there and I'm just setting my face, essentially. So everywhere that a liquid has been, you need to set that with a powder. You just cannot put the makeup on your face and saying, oh, why did my makeup is not coming out right? You have to set your makeup with a powder. That is what's going to make your face look more seamless. I feel like that's mainly the trick. If there's one thing, you don't have to use expensive makeup, but if there's one thing that you can take from this tutorial, you need a good primer or a good skin prep, whatever you need. But I go in with more with the primer because I feel like with my skin, I don't do too much with my skin prep. Like, yeah, but you need a good primer. You need a good well, not a good foundation. You can get away with that. You need a good primer, and then you need some good powders. You need to get all your powders, and whatever liquid you buy, you need to buy a powder with that. But now, anyways, now I'm going in with my Juvia's Place blush. And I'm using the orange one. I don't know if I showed it, but I'm using like the orange blush. And I'm just setting my face with that. And then now I'm going in. I'm not going in with my powder foundation as of yet. This brush that I'm using on my face now doesn't have any product on it. And basically, I kind of use this as a way to kind of like clean up and like smooth out those harsh lines from like the powder, from the bronzer and the blush powder and stuff like that, and also from the loose powder. So I kind of just use this as a way to kind of like clean up everything before I go in with my foundation powder, which I am about to do as of right now. And like I said, I am going to include all the products in the list below. So if I'm not mentioning any products, of course, y'all gonna see it in the description. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, kind of just going in and blending everything out. And as you guys can see, I'm getting up because I forgot some stuff. So don't mind what is going on as of right here. Cause yeah, a girl needs a vanity. That's what I need to do. Cause I am getting tired of doing my makeup in my bathroom. I need a really big vanity. But anyways, y'all see me. I got that's the second version of my Juvia's Place blush powder. And like I said, I just went in with my orange blush. This time I am going in with my pink blush. Yes, like I said, I used two blushes. So with the pink blush, with the lighter pink blush, I use that to kind of go in with my under my eyes. And you probably saying, what the hell? But this kind of makes my makeup look a little bit more, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it just brings everything together and kind of create like that airy not fairy tale, but like it just makes everything look more flawless than it already is. So there's that. I'm just adding that on there, and then I mix the two the dark pink and then the light pink blushes, and I use that as a way to kind of like blend in with my orange blush a little bit. I like using my orange blush by itself, but sometimes I know that I like going in with my pink blush. It just, what I notice when I use the orange blush with the pink blush, everything just comes together really well, and it just adds more what's the word, more color to my face, you know. So like I said, I was running a little late, so I didn't have time to put lashes on. And as you can see, I messed up on applying my mascara, and I got a little bit on my under, like what is it? Y'all see where I applied my concealer at. But also I forgot to set my eyelids, but I messed up. As you can see, some of the mascara had got under my eye, and to fix that, I just go in with a little bit of concealer that's like wet concealer, and I kind of just clean that up. You don't need a lot. You just want to take a little bit and just dab wherever you probably messed up at, well, where I messed up at, and I just kind of clean that up, and then I set it again with a light layer of my loose powder. But yeah, I was running a little late. I mostly sometimes do lashes, but today I did just do a simple simple mascara today. I am gonna have more makeup looks to come, where I am gonna do like not mascara, where I'm gonna do lashes, because I do wear lashes sometimes, but just today I didn't feel like it. So just applying my mascara. Nothing special about this. The mascara I'm using, this one, I think it's the L'Oreal Panoramic or Panorama mascara. This is a good one. I really like using this mascara, and I use a lot of mascaras. Like, people say all mascaras equal. No, each mascara has a different uniqueness. That's why I use 3 of them. Yes, 3. I use 3 mascaras. So the first one is the L'Oreal, and then the second one that I'm going to go in and use is my Fenty Beauty by Rihanna, and then the last one that I go in is with my Essence the False Mascara, or False Lash Effect Mascara. So I'm going to use that, and I apply a lot of coats to my lashes until I get like that blend or that length that I want. I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, the camera is not doing justice to how my actual lashes look in real life. But yeah, now this eyelash, or yeah, where I'm applying my mascara, this always gives me a hard time, and I do not know why. Like, I don't know. Like, the other eye where I just got done applying mascara, that one does good with mascara. But this one, I have to apply a lot of mascara in order to get it to look the way I need it to. So yeah. As you can see right here, I'm taking a quick pause because I am texting on my phone. So in the meantime, we're gonna get back to the makeup routine. A girl just had to take a quick break, and here we go. We're going back and applying this mascara. And when you apply your mascara, you always want to look down. Do not like look up, if that makes sense. And I am back texting on my phone again. I promise y'all, I'm going to be off in just a good little minute. But y'all see the face though? The face is eating. Once we clean up the excess stuff on our lip, the makeup is gonna come through. And then of course I poke myself in the eye with the mascara wand. Now I am going in with my Fenty mascara, and I mostly kind of just use this mascara to kind of make my lashes a little bit more darker and add volume to my lashes. I feel like with the first one, I used that one to kind of give more a length to my lashes, while I feel like with the Fenty I get volume and darkness. And then for the Essence mascara, I kind of just use that as another darkening mascara, but also kind of to give me more volume. So as you can see by my lashes, the lashes are now coming together. I really did want to put on some falsies for this look because I feel like that would have brought it together. But like I said, I was running on limited time. And I really did want to get this makeup video out, so. And the final mascara is this Essence, the false lash, or the lash effect. It's one of those mascaras. So yeah, this is like a good mascara on its own as well, but sometimes I be wanting my lashes to kind of give like that false mascara look, and in order to get that, like, I get the volume and the length, but I just want my lashes to kind of be like really, really dark. This, like, you know how eyelashes kind of give you like that dark look? That's what I be wanting on my real lashes. So that's why I use 3 mascaras. Now I'm going in with my Maybelline gel eyeliner, and I feel like this just cleans everything up. And I like using this on my waterline. I just like using gel liner. I love a good gel liner. Like before I used to like wear foundation and concealer and do all that stuff. When I was in high school, I used to only just wear mascara and eyeliner. I love that. But yeah, I just feel like black eyeliner just makes everything look 10 times better. It kind of just brings out your eyes more. Especially with my real lashes with the mascara. So now I'm going to clean up my lip and remove all that excess powder, foundation, concealer off my lip. You don't have, I know some people when they're doing their makeup, they don't do this step. And I'm not saying you have to either. It's just, I noticed that my makeup product, well, not my makeup, my lip products, when I apply like my lip pencils and stuff like that. It lasts more longer on my lip once I remove all this stuff off my lip. So yeah, everything just kind of just goes on there a little bit more smoothly. So yeah, I feel like you should clean up, like if you're doing like a big thing of makeup, or you know you done a full beat, you should clean off the excess product off your whatchamacallit. So yeah, I don't know what I'm looking for. I think I'm looking for my lip liner. So yeah, this video is not edited, by the way. I don't think it is. I'm not moving nothing out, so you gonna get everything in here. This is straight raw, okay? I'm going in with my lip liner from Sephora, the Sephora collection. I forgot the name of this, but the look that I was kind of going for today was kind of very, like, I don't know, very like pinkish. The reason why I bought this, because I thought this was a dupe to MAC Root for Me. If you guys know, I love a good MAC lip liner. But the thing about MAC Root for Me lip liner, they don't sell it in stores, and I have never just came to my senses and pulled the band-aid and just bought it offline. So I'm using this as of right now. So as you can tell, well, see, it's kind of like a little dark burgundy or purple, whatever you want to call it. I would have stuck with this, but I did go in with my Anastasia brown lip liner, and I kind of used that, just kind of darken it up a little bit to kind of give that Root for Me type look. Like, I noticed when I go in with the brown lip liner, that does give the Root for Me lip liner. So I go in with that, and then I go in with my lipstick from MAC, and it's the pink peppermint, and I go in with a little bit of this. I love this lipstick, y'all. This just gives girl la la. Like, y'all see that? Ugh. Looks, I'm trying to like move the camera so I can see how good it looks. Like, look at that. So I used that, and then I think I went in with my Sephora lip collection, or no, Sephora collection clear lip plumper, and I kind of just use that as like a topper. Sometimes I go in with the Fenty Beauty lip gloss in the color Sweet Mouth. I think that I use that as like a touch-up gloss. But yeah, I just applied a lot of clear lip gloss from Sephora collection, and that was kind of it with my makeup. And the very last thing that you want to do in your makeup, do not forget this step. I think this is the third thing I said you need to do. You need to set your face. Set your face, set your face, set your face, set your face. That is going to lock everything in and lock all the work that you've done on your flawless beat. I'm using the Urban Decay matte setting spray, and I love that setting spray. That's using matte foundation and matte setting spray. Oh, that's like chef kiss. But also, if you're a beginner, I feel like whatever foundation that you're using, you want to match that setting spray. So yeah, that is it for my makeup video, y'all. I hope you guys like this video. I'm trying to change the light that you can see it, but I'm gonna insert some pictures of that I took, and also you can tell by the thumbnail how my makeup came out in like a regular lighting. But I hope you guys like the video, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye.